हरिः ओम् नमस्कारः। अद्य भाषाप्रवेशस्य प्रथमभागस्य द्वितीयकक्षायां भवतां सर्वेषां स्वागतम्। So welcome you all for this second session on भाषाप्रवेश level 1. एकवारं पुनस्मरणं दृष्ट्वा वयम् अग्रे चरामः. We will see once the recap of the previous session and then we'll go ahead. So yesterday we have seen the introducing ourselves with what is your name, and we actually say bhavatah nama kim or bhavatyah nama kim based on the gender, masculine or feminine. And similarly the answer for this is mama nama Ashokah. So my name is Ashok. I think so far we are good. And we also have seen a few Sanskrit words we learned yesterday. And a very important thing when you learn any new word in Sanskrit is the gender, right? And by default, any name of any people or objects by default would remain as it is. For example, Ashoka is a masculine and Sita is a feminine, or Pustakam is neuter. There is no change there. But for any other objects, if we take, generally not always all the objects would be in neuter. It generally varies actually. For example, Margaha, though it is a road, is just an object in our view, it's a non-living object, but still we actually consider that as a masculine word. And remember, the gender is not the gender of the object, it is the gender of the word. Okay, every word in Sanskrit has its own gender, and that we need to understand that very well. And similarly, the gender is not defined based on living or non-living objects. Basically, in other languages, you might see all non-living objects might be categorized as neuter, but here in Sanskrit, even non-living object words, they also would have some gender. Okay, that is very important. Why gender we need to study? That's because if you are applying any grammatical rules based on a specific gender, then for example, Marga is a masculine word, then all the masculine grammatical rules can be applied on that word. Okay, but let's see what are they later. That's a very important thing, gender. And how do you get to know? You learn gender of a word from the dictionary. All you need to just repeatedly check the dictionary for the new words and understand what gender it is actually, and you try to use those words in your conversation as well. I think this is what we have seen yesterday, and let us move little further now. I hope we have seen all these words yesterday, especially the Margaha, Ghati, Vayuhu, Mitram, Vatika, though they are actually the non-living objects, but still they have some gender. Okay, definitely they have some non-neuter gender. So Margaha is a masculine, Ghati is a feminine, and Vayuhu is a masculine, and Mitram is neuter, and Vatika is feminine. So how do we know what is the gender? Just we can roughly guess, in case if you don't have a dictionary, you can roughly guess Margaha may be masculine. That's because it resembles some part, the ending part of that is same as the Ramaha or Ashokaha or Krishnaha. So it has some Akara and Visarga at the end. And similarly, Ghati is feminine. That's because it has Dirgha Ikara at the end. Any Dirgha vowel at the end, generally we categorize them as a feminine. And anything which actually ends with we categorize them as neuter. Okay, that's a very simple rule to identify, but it's always good if you have a practice of checking in the dictionary. Okay, and masculine is called as Pumlingam, and feminine is called as Strilingam, and neuter is called as Napumsakalingam. Good, I think so far we are good, and let us move further. Okay, the next thing we learn here is there are few pronouns that is they are very important when we use in spoken Sanskrit. They are like he, she, and it. So basically we have learned some words which actually points to some objects or persons. Now it's our time to make as a sentence attaching appropriate he or she or it, right? For example, Rama, he is Rama, or she is Sita, or it is book. So basically we are trying to make some sentences by adding some pronouns. So for that we need to understand, or maybe we need to have an idea on pronouns, how what all different pronouns are there in Sanskrit, and similarly how to use them with simple examples. Super. Okay, let's start. There are primarily, you can see the three pronouns in Sanskrit: saha, sa, tat. Saha, sa, tat. Okay, and you can also see another set of three pronouns: eshaha, esha, etat. Okay, so difference is, it's very simple. There are two sets of pronouns here: saha, sa, tat, and eshaha, esha, etat. And difference is, eshaha, esha, etat generally means the objects or persons who are nearby or close by you. Okay, this, in English we generally say this and that. Okay, so eshaha, esha, etat actually used to point out the objects or persons nearby you. At the same time, saha, sa, tat, they are used to point objects a little far away or little. It helps you to point the distant objects or persons. Okay, so example is, saha means a person who is really distant from you. We can just point a finger and say saha. And eshaha is a person who is very near to you, is present near to you, next to you. Is called, maybe we can say eshaha in that case. So basically these are the six pronouns most frequently used: saha, eshaha, sa, esha, tat, etat. So basically when you practice, you always pronounce it multiple times. At the same time, you have you just point the finger very far, saying that saha, and point the finger very nearby, saying that eshaha. Similarly, sa, pointing finger very far, and esha, pointing finger to nearby. Similarly, tat and etat. Okay, so don't memorize saha, eshaha, sa, esha, tat, etat. Don't memorize like that. Just use or utter the words along with your body action, like point the person or object far away and say saha, and person or object nearby to you, point that object or person, say eshaha. Okay, that is very important, and just practice along with the meaning and as well as the hand gesture, plus utter the word together. So you'll get that way your brain gets trained with these new words actually. Okay, hope it is clear. Saha, sa, tat. Okay, now why three? Actually, of course, there are three genders. All right, so eshaha is a masculine, and esha is a feminine, and etat is neuter. And similarly, saha is a masculine word, and sa is a feminine word, and tat is a neuter word. Okay, for example, you can say that eshaha Ramaha. So this person is Rama. So I'm saying this person, but maybe in English you will be using he, but he doesn't say whether that person is near or a distant person. Okay, but I'm just using this person or this he just to make it clear here. So eshaha Ramaha means this person or this he is Rama, and similarly saha Krishnaha, that person or that he is Krishna. Okay, and eshaha saha, so this person is Rama and that person is Krishna. So eshaha Ramaha, saha Krishnaha. Similarly, esha Sita, sa Draupadi, we can say. So esha, this lady is Sita, and sa Draupadi, that lady is Draupadi. So that's the way we actually differentiate, but it's little difficult to give English translation, but I hope you can follow it actually. And similarly, etat pustakam, tat pushpam. So this is a book and that is flower. I think here we have clear distinction. So etat pustakam and tat pushpam. Okay, that's the way you can try. Whenever you frame any such sentences, ensure that your hand gesture is really matching to your words, and practice with your hand gestures. So that would really help you to master this or make a fluency on these new terminologies. All right, so I think hope we are clear here. So now let's go a little further. Okay, and saha, sa, tat, and eshaha, esha, etat, they are used to make sentences. So now assume the case where if you want to create a question for that same sentence. For example, eshaha Ramaha. So he is Rama. I mean, this he is Rama, or this person is Rama. So you might ask question like, who is this person? Or you may ask who is Rama. Right? For both of them, you would be getting answer as this person or he is Rama. Okay, so but to ask this question in Sanskrit, you need to know what is the meaning, what's the Sanskrit word for who, right? Similarly, who is Sita, or what is book, or what is this, and this is book, right? So to know this question words for all of these are the three set of question words you can see: kaha, ka, kim. So kaha Ramaha, who is Rama? Eshaha Ramaha, he is Rama. I mean, this he is Rama. Kaha Krishnaha, saha Krishnaha. Who is Krishna? He is Krishna. Ka Sita, Esha Sita. Ka Saraswati, sa Saraswati. Okay, and kim Pustakam, etat Pustakam. Kim Pushpam, tat Pushpam. The same examples what we have seen, I am just adding with the kaha, ka, kim. So again, kaha, ka, kim goes along with the gender. Kaha is a masculine word and ka is a feminine word and kim is a neuter word. And for example, saha Ramaha or saha Krishnaha. You can ask kaha Krishnaha, who is Krishna? Or you can also ask saha kaha, who is he? So it's basically just saha kaha, saha Krishnaha. Similarly, kaha Krishnaha, saha Krishnaha. So basically, you can use these words in any order, in any combination. So based on what meaning you would like to say, right? So basically, of course, this is a little difficult if you are new, but you just need to practice a couple of times. Maybe just take a few of your friends' names and you try using with the saha, sa, and tat. And similarly, eshaha, esha, etat, and try to make questions out of them like kaha, ka, kim, and try to map the corresponding meanings within yourself. So that is very important. Don't just muck up or memorize. Just understand the meaning, and along with that, you utter the words as well. So that will be more effective in this case. Alright, so I think we are clear so far. So now let's move further and we'll try to I think we have already seen a list of Sanskrit words earlier, right? We will try to match those words, or we'll try to use those words in some sentences. But before that, there are few examples for eshaha, esha, etat, and saha, sa, tat. It's the same thing. Eshaha Ramaha, esha Sita, etat Pustakam. Okay, and one more thing is there are Sanskrit words. The gender of the Sanskrit words are not based on the meaning, it's based on the word itself. So if, for example, if you take Mitram, so we will not say he is friend or she is friend. If you are using the word Mitram, you will always use etat Mitram or tat Mitram. Okay, that is very important. And similarly for saha, sa, tat, examples are like this. Saha Arjunaha, sa Draupadi, tat Pushpam, and similarly saha Margaha. So here Marga is a road, though because Marga is a masculine word, we will be using saha or eshaha. So saha Margaha, eshaha Margaha, kaha Margaha. So saha Margaha, that is road, eshaha Margaha, this is road, and kaha Margaha, what is road. Okay, but here remember, though in Sanskrit we say saha Margaha, but the translation would be of course based on your language. Like if it is English, it will be it is road or that is road. Okay, you will not be saying like he is road, you will not translate like he is road or she is road. Okay, that is important. So only in Sanskrit we will be we'll be just saying Saha Margaha, treating them as masculine. That's it. Hope it is clear so far. Okay, now let us go a little further and try to understand a little more on this as well. Okay, we have Eshaha, Esha, Etat, Saha, Sa, Tat. So we have seen list of few Sanskrit words yesterday. Ramaha, Ashokaha, Krishnaha, Arjunaha, Bhimaha, Sita, Gauri, Mala, Draupadi, Saraswati, and Pustakam, Pushpam, Phalam, Jalam, Netram, and Margaha, Ghati, Vayuhu, Mitram, Vatika. Okay, each one they have their own genders. So now we'll try to attach them with appropriate pronouns, and we'll try to make a sentence. Okay, but just to make it simple here, I'm just going to use Saha, Sa, Tat. Okay, Eshaha, Esha, Etat will also resemble the same. Okay, for example, Ramaha, Saha, Ramaha, Ashokaha, Saha, Ashokaha, Krishnaha, Saha, Krishnaha, Saha, Arjunaha, Saha, Bhimaha. Similarly, Sa, Sita, Sa, Gauri, Sa, Mala, Sa, Draupadi, Sa, Saraswati. Tat Pustakam, Tat Pushpam, Tat Phalam, Tat Jalam, Tat Netram. Again here, Saha Margaha, Sa Ghati, Saha Vayuhu, Tat Mitram, Sa Vatika. So remember, I'm not using neuter pronoun here like Tat. I'm using appropriate pronoun here. Saha Margaha, Sa Ghati, Saha Vayuhu, Tat Mitram, Sa Vatika. Okay. So this is where the gender becomes very important. So any new word you learn along with the gender. That is very important. Okay, I'll just open up for questions if you have any. Then we'll have a very, very short exercise on the same.
Yes, sir. I wanted to know why Bhumi is male or female. I'm referring to the book that you all have given.
So it is Bhumi is a feminine word actually.
Yes, when we use that Visarga, it is not Guruha, it is Guruhu, right? So how to differentiate that? Where to use who and where to use ha and all?
No, okay. The rule is very simple actually. Whenever the Visarga comes, the Visarga will repeat the same vowel pronunciation of the previous vowel. Okay, for example, Guru and Visarga, Guru ends with U, so the same Hu will be repeated there. So Guru Hu. And Ashoka, it actually ends with A. After that is a Visarga, so it becomes, they repeats Akara again. So Ashokaha. And similarly, Matihi, Mati ends with Ikara, and Visarga will repeat again previous vowel Ikara. So Matihi, Guruhu, Ashokaha.
Namaskaram Mohodaya. We say Saha Ramaha, that is, he is Rama. When you question who is he, we can ask Kaha Ramaha, or Kaha Saha, or Saha Kaha also, or Ramaha Kaha also. No, both ways you can ask, no?
Yes. See, it's very simple actually. Saha Ramaha. You can actually replace Kaha on any one of them, like Kaha Ramaha or Saha Kaha. Yes.
ಸಾ ವಾಯು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಅವನು ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಸರ್. ಅವನು ಗಾಳಿ ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದು ಗಾಳಿ ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತೆ.
Yeah, correct. But Vayuhu is a masculine word here. So Saha Vayuhu. It's not Sa Vayuhu.
My question is, can a feminine word have a visarga in the end?
Yes, it can have. But we are going to see the examples in next session. I mean, we are going to see them.
Okay. And I have one more doubt. In a word like Krishna, how does where is the vowel sound that the visarga takes?
Krishna plus visarga, right? So visarga would repeat the previous vowel sound So Krishna ends with akara, so it will be Krishnaha.
Krishnaha. It's okay. So is it the akara sound is combined with na?
No, Krishna ha. Akara is separately pronounced. It's not akara, it's a ha. It's a mahaprana sound, slight of mahaprana sound.
I had a doubt that like the words will have the same gender, or we can change the gender.
It would have fixed gender in all the time. Okay, and there are exceptions, but let's not worry about the exceptions. But you can assume it's a fixed gender. So Mitra for friend is always neuter.
Sir, what about Vyakti? Is Sa Vyakti or Saha Vyakti?
Sa Vyaktihi. Vyakti is a feminine word.
Feminine word? Okay.
Yes.
So what is the plural of this, what is the pulling of Vyakti word, sir, then?
There's no Pumlinga. Yeah, person, but in Sanskrit the word is a feminine word. It's a Vyaktihi. Sa Vyaktihi. But if you want to specify, if you are eager to use masculine word, you can use Janaha. You can use Saha Janaha. That way you can specify. Or Saha Purushaha.
Okay. Okay, Sa Vyakti. Okay. Dhanyavada.
I have one doubt.
Yeah.
While writing the words Jalam, Palam, Nayanam, we put that Anuswara at the end for him. Whereas in Madhuram, Udharam, Bhojanam, we write it fully, that him. Why this difference is there?
Okay, it is not a difference. There's a grammatical rule where to use Anuswara or where to use proper Makara. Yeah, there is a separate video on the same Sanskrit Today channel. I have given it actually. It's a very simple rule actually. Go through that actually. Yeah, it's a simple. I will also post the link on the Telegram group. Okay.
Thank you.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Namaskaraha. Sir, Saha Ramaha. So he asked, Kaha Ramaha, who is Rama, correct?
Mm-hmm.
But if you ask Kaha Sa, that means who is he? So the question changes. Am I right,
Yes.
sir?
Yes, correct.
So we can have two questions for the same Sa Ramaha, correct?
Yes, correct. So Saha Ramaha means you can either replace Saha with Kaha or Ramaha with Kaha. Both actually makes a question.
But the translated questions are different. One will be who is
Different,
Rama,
yes.
the other one will be who is he.
Who is he? Correct.
Okay, Dhanyavada, sir.
Am I audible?
Namaha. Yes.
My question was while we are using this visarga, the sound that we utter is of the consonant ha. So why don't we directly use ha instead of using visarga? Like both are the same thing in while we pronounce, like kaha and kaha. Both are the same things. Or is there any difference? Then what's that difference?
No, Visarga, this is a completely skipped question. Okay, Visarga is, it will give the pronunciation of ha. It's not the pronunciation of a. Okay, it's not a, e pronunciation. It's a ha. Okay, it's a mahaprana pronunciation. And that would resemble, that would have the vowel pronunciation of the akara, ikara, okara. So, mati, he. Rama, ha. That's the way it is pronounced actually. But when you hear, you may hear it as double vowel repeating, but it's not a vowel, same vowel is repeating, it's a mahaprana.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Namo Nama.
Mahodaya, for feminine, for the question will be, it will be according to that gender, right? If it is Shala means Ka Shala, right? If it is Margam means
Yes.
Kim Margam. So what does
Kaha
actually,
Margaha.
See, yeah, Kaha Margaha, yes. Kaha means who and Kim means what, right? So Ka Shala means what is actually the, can you tell the English meaning for Ka Shala means who Shala?
The translation, okay, kaha margaha, the translation would be what is marga, and ka shala, translation would be what is shala. Okay, but only don't consider that it's we are treating it as a living being or a non-living. There's no differentiation as such. So kaha is used as a who and as well as what. Kaha margaha, kaha devalayaha, kaha balakaha, all are same actually. Then the kaha balakaha, it's translated as who is balaka, and kaha devalayaha, it is translated as what is devalaya.
Okay. So kaha devalaya means which temple, right?
Which temple
Okay.
or what is temple?
So which and what both are same. We have to use kaha and ka, right?
Yeah, correct. So which, what, and who,
Dhanyavad.
and all these three cases you may use it actually. Yeah. Okay, so let's actually continue to the next topic. Actually, I know there are many questions, and this is a little different thing than other languages. In other languages, you generally use what or who, but here it is little kaha is used in both the sense, right? Who and as well as what. So it might confuse at the beginning, but the more you practice, I think it will become easy for you. So let's not worry here. Let's keep going. And there is a question on the chat. What is the correct sentence formation for kaha saha or saha kaha? So which one is right? So as I said yesterday, you can ask, you can frame sentences in any order. The word order does not matter. Both are actually correct. Kaha saha, it means who is he, and saha kaha is also who is he. Okay, there is no difference there. Yeah, that's all for today. Thank you for watching this video online. And for any queries, or if you want to interact with teachers or students, please post them in the forum, or you can even join our Telegram group. Links are given below. And subscribe to this channel to watch more videos like this. And share this video with your friends and interested people or group. And if you have any queries, you can even write your comments of this video below the video. And like this video. Thank you and bye.